Hey, um, I just wanted to make a video about A.D.D. Um, it's something that I've been looking into a lot lately. It has to deal with what's called an attention deficit disorder. Um, that's not to be confused with A.D.H.D. A.D.H.D. is the same thing, but the H stands for hyperactive. And I've never been to a doctor about it. I've never seen any kind of therapist, counselor, or anything else. Um, However, I do believe I have it. The reason being, I can go through a day just fine. I'm not impaired or anything like that. The word is, the last initial stands for disorder, but I don't really think it is. I think it's a different way of thinking. I've done a lot of research on it, and I've looked at different viewpoints, and it's characterized by a lack of focus. It's characterized by an inability to maintain interest in anything for any extended period of time. But if you do like something, if you do find something interesting, it ends up being intensely so. You're honed in on it. You're focused, and I do that. I mean, I'll have projects and things, and I'll get my space all set up, and anybody who's spent a lot of time with me, they'll know when I get in project mode, it's go time. Everything's just a whirlwind of creativity and just stuff, and it's great. I love it. I'm really creative, and I can paint, and I can draw, and I can do music, and I'm athletic, and I can do so many things because I focus on so many different things at one time. But it can also be a hindrance too. Not so much for me. I mean, it's something that I do have trouble with, but it doesn't hold me down. It distracts me, but it doesn't hold me down. For example, at work, I work in a highly structured environment. I'm in a call center, but I'm not reading off of cue cards and things. So I'm tasked with doing all kinds of things at the same time. I have to receive multiple forms of input, and then I have to decide from there what to do. Sometimes that can be difficult, and in my statistics, the one thing that I suffer in the most is my handle time, which is how long I spend on a phone call. Everything else is great. I have a great focus on who I'm talking to and the subject matter and making sure they're taken care of, but it can take me a little while to get there. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. There's a lot of people who make videos and have speeches and things. Just recently I saw a TED Talk. I'm mad at myself for forgetting what his name was. That's another characterization, forgetting things, which I do all the time. But he was talking about how it's not a disability, but a difference in thinking. And I'd like to take the time to say that that's how we should approach it. It's not necessarily a problem. It's not necessarily something that needs to be fixed, but rather approached in a different manner. Kind of like how I feel like I have ADD. I see all the signs and symptoms. Like I said, I've never been diagnosed, but I definitely feel it. I can use it as a tool. And actually, my roommate, he's a really smart, intelligent guy, and super fantastic. Great guy. But he brought it up to me one day because I thought about it, and I said, I'm thinking about going to a doctor, getting medication, and kind of getting it on lockdown. Like everybody says, oh, they have ADHD, or they have ADD, they need to take some medication, they need to chill out. Well, he pointed out, I notice things, whether it's the way the light reflects off of a car in the evening, and it just makes it that much more enjoyable. Or I'll sit on the patio, and I'll just be relaxing, and I'll look at the tree, and while he sits and he sees the trees and he enjoys it, I'll take the time to notice the little things. I'll think, why did the tree grow in the way it did, the patterns? What makes it more efficient? or why does it do those things? Or I'll see a cabinet door, and I'll think, what are the pieces that go into making that? There's nothing is as it seems. Everything has layers, whether it's my jeans and the machines that, you know, spent the time they did to make them, or, you know, how the print on my shirt came to be, or even how little things in conversation flow together. I'll notice the way somebody says something, or the way they, you know, they move their hair, or they, you know, give you a punch on the arm, or things like that. It brings so many more details to your life, and it makes it that much more interesting. And so I think moving forward in life, that TED Talk that I was talking about earlier, in closing, he quoted Robin Williams, and great man. He did have, and I'm not sure if it's ADHD or ADD, either way, he did have a battle with that before he passed along. And he said that, you know, we are only given a little spark of insanity, and that we must never lose it. And that's kind of the point that my roommate struck on. It's really deep, and it's really profound, because more and more nowadays we are moving towards being a single body and conforming and having the same phones and the same clothes and the same cars and the same lifestyles and hanging out in the same areas with the same people. What happened to being different? Why can't I look at the world different? Why can't I wear different clothes? Even if it looks funny. Hey, it's me. And so moving forward, I want to embrace that. I don't want to get rid of it. It makes life that much more interesting, and I can say there's so many hobbies and things that I probably wouldn't have tried if I never had this. And there's so many things that I would have never met had I never had this. So, yeah, you gotta see my laundry basket there. Got a phone call and I had to ignore it. But anyway, in closing, I just want to say, you know, thank you to my friends and family for their support. I want to say to anybody else who thinks they might have ADD or ADHD, or has been diagnosed with it, what are your thoughts and opinions? Do you feel the same way? Is it something that you enjoy, or is it something that gives you a lot of trouble? Either way, I embrace you to, or invite you to embrace it and find creative solutions other than medication and the man, so to speak. You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but find ways to deal with it in your own way that help you get the best out of life, instead of blocking those parts off because they're not what everyone else thinks is the status quo. So thank you, and have a good night.